Next up is The Falling in Love Montage by Ciara Smyth. Did I really? I take the easiest author name on this whole video, and that's the one I mess up. Of all the names of all the authors, I mess up Smyth. This is kind of my first ever attempt at a booktube video. I'm typically a bookstagrammer, not so much on the videos, but I do some videos on IGTV and in my stories and stuff. And I am hosting the Sapphic September read-along next month. And my overly ambitious TBR is a bit long to throw up on Instagram, so we're going to do it here. I would like to note from the beginning that the reason my TBR is this massive is not because I think I can read all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, because there's an ebook at least one next month, but I'm a filthy mood reader, and if I set a TBR with only one pick for each prompt, I will not get as much done, and it's my own damn readathon, so I'm gonna be really embarrassed if I can't at least pull off a bingo. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the first book that I want to read next month, and I pulled up my little bingo card here so I can tell everyone the correct prompts. This is Peta Lyre's Peta Lyre's Rating Normal, surprisingly hard to say, by Anna Whateley or Whateley. I want to say Whateley. I think it's Anna Whateley. I should just DM her and ask. Anna Whateley. This is actually an Own Voices Sapphic autistic novel. So I'm really excited for this one. My friend Bookish Braun from Instagram recommended it to me because they know how I feel about sapphic autistic protags, because as an autistic lesbian myself, I don't see a lot of that represented in books. I think I've got 4 or 5 picks that I've read or that I have on my TBR that have sapphic autistic protagonists. Why does everything I love so hard to say? So this is also a Love Oz YA book. I had to order it from Book Depository and wait like 6 weeks for it to come in, but I'm really excited. It's a YA, obviously, if it's Love Oz YA, but this would fit for, I read a good mix of adult and YA, so I don't know what my own prompt answer would be. There's a prompt called Adult if you usually read YA, and vice versa. This could theoretically work for that. This could also work for Let a Friend Choose Your Read, because a friend did choose this book for me. Could work for contemporary romance, new or new to you author. It could, yeah, I think that's all. So, Peta Lyre's Rating Normal. You know what? I should move this stack of, y'all. Okay, this isn't gonna happen. I should move the stack of books and, screw it. I'm just gonna leave them here. We'll display them all at the end. So again, Peta Lyre's Rating Normal by Anna Whateley. There's just going to be books piled. I am outside because this is where the lighting is, and also the theme of my Bookstagram tends to be books outside. So if I'm going to launch a booktube based on my Bookstagram, I had to do my first video outside. Next up, we have a book that has been on my TBR way too long and has been recommended to me by so many people whose opinions I respect and who love the same books as me. This is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. At least 5 people have recommended this to me. This is for sci-fi fantasy with a romantic subplot. I believe there's a romantic subplot. Because I haven't read it yet, even though I should have, I can't confirm. It would also be new or new to me author. It would be, has been on my TBR too long. I think that's all. So, next up is Escaping Exodus by Nicky Drayden. This is a kind of, I've heard it's like the craziest, wildest, most wonderful sci-fi book a lot of my friends have read in a long time. There is a sapphic protagonist, I believe. I don't know any of the details because this was recommended to me by people who, like, there are very few people that can just recommend a book to me and I just go buy it sight unseen, but there are a few, including my my friend Dom of Dom Reads All Instagram, and also my friend Kess, who is Book of the Gay on Instagram. So this is sci-fi fantasy, maybe has a romantic subplot, maybe it doesn't. Either way, I really want to read it. I don't know if it fits for anything else, but this has been on my TBR for a while and I want to check it out, so maybe September will be the month. Next up is Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. This was purchased for me by my dear friend Star, who is Little Miss Star 55 on Instagram. This is an enemies to lovers, so it works for that prompt. It might also be a backlist. Nope, it's only been out like a year. I've already got like the matching bookmark set up in here because I was going to start it. It also works for contemporary romance. I think maybe it's an opposites attract, maybe not. New to me author. Yeah, I have lots of new to me authors and lots of enemies to lovers because my favorite trope is enemies to lovers. Next up is The Henna Wars by Adiba Jaigirdar. This is a YA, I think it's rivals rather than enemies to lovers. I've heard really good things about this one. It would work for new to me author. It would work for contemporary romance. The wind, my bangs are going to go everywhere. It would work for probably format you read the least, because I honestly don't read a lot of hardbacks yet. I have so many on my TBR, but as far as ones I actually read, and it would also work for rivals to lovers. Yes, I think that's all. So, Henna Wars, lighting, Adiba Jaigirdar. Hopefully, if I continue to do the Booktube thing, I will figure out a better way than whatever. Hopefully, if I continue the Booktube thing, I will come up with a better way where the titles aren't all washed out when I hold them up. So next is Cinderella is Dead by Kalynn Bayron. And I actually pre-ordered this several months before it came out. It is new. It is not exactly a fairy tale retelling, but it is based on, obviously, Cinderella. It happens 200 years after Cinderella dies. Fun offshoot story about this one. When I told my grandmother that I had ordered a book called Cinderella is Dead, like the look on her face was like, because it sounds so bizarre, I was like, no, it's not about murdering Cinderella. It's about like amazing queer black girls fighting the patriarchy. She was still not impressed, but I'm really psyched to read this one. I have actually a beautiful pin from my pre-order, and shout out to the fact that Kalynn is also from Texas. So I love supporting local writers, as in writers from Texas, especially if they're queer. So, wonderful. So I'm excited for this one. This is pretty high priority for my TBR this coming month. This would also work for new to me author, format I read the least. Obviously myth or fairy tale retelling. And I think that's all. Well, and it's YA, but. Whew, how do y'all do these like long videos without running out of steam? Impressed. Next up is The Falling in Love Montage by Ciara Smyth. Did I really? I take the easiest author name on this whole video, and that's the one I mess up. Of all the names of all the authors, I mess up Smyth. I'm boo-boo the fool. I don't deserve to have a Booktube channel. What am I doing? Anyway, next up is The Falling in Love Montage by Ciara Smyth. It is a contemporary, I believe, YA romance, so it definitely works for contemporary romance. Everyone that I know who has read this loves it. A booktuber whose channel I really love, who is a reading elf, Teresa, this is like her favorite book, and watching her videos, kind of binging some of them over the last couple days, made me really want to bump this one up my TBR, so this is another like top priority to get to for Sapphic September. Got to set them in another chair, because if I continue to set my leftover books in that pile, they will go everywhere. Next up is The Music and the Mirror by Lola Keeley. This is going to be for indie or small press author. Ilva is a small LGBT publisher. I think they primarily do like Sapphic books. I should have researched this before I started. One moment, be right back. Okay, I have returned and I can confirm that Ylva is a small Sapphic publisher. They focus on stories about women loving women. So I have read several Lola Keeley books, but honestly, I know her back from Devil Wears Prada fanfiction when I was a teenager, like 10, 12 years ago, and I always really loved that. This is her original fiction that was based on, I believe, a Supercat AU. It's about ballet, in case you couldn't tell. But this has come highly recommended to me because y'all know I love age gaps and also Ice Queen romances. So this is one of my most anticipated books. It also will work for a backlist title as well as contemporary, well, not new to me author because I've read her stuff before. And so this is probably going to be my indie or small press choice unless I read an ebook. But that's also kind of top priority. What sucks when you make a TBR with this many books, because you're too much of a shithead to be able to narrow them down, then you still have to make choices. And the whole point of a TBR is to remove some of the overwhelm with the choices. But here we are. Next up is Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Cory McCarthy. So this is one I am for sure reading next month because I am buddy reading it with my friend Rosie, who is Marrow Child on Instagram. We have been planning to buddy read this in September for like 2 months now, or weeks now. Time has no meaning in 2020, but neither of us really had time until September. So this was on my TBR for September before I even started the readathon. So this is for sure going to happen. This is a queer King Arthur retelling in space with lots of different queer rep, including like non-binary and trans rep, Sapphic characters. I think it's got a little bit of everything. This is also, this is my choice for sci-fi fantasy with romantic subplot, or an option for that. And also with has been on your TBR too long, because I bought this in April, which is when I started trying to read prolifically again after years off. So April, when I started my Bookstagram, is when I really started reading a lot again. And this was one of the first books I bought, and I still haven't read it. And so, like, I know that's nothing compared to people who have books that have been on their TBR for years, but I didn't buy books I actually wanted to read until like last year, because I wasn't on ADHD medicine and I couldn't read, and I never made that connection. So I got medicated again in 2018 to go back to school, and discovered last year, oh my god, I could read again. I hadn't been able to read in like 8 years. I read hardly any. And so now I've read like 60 books this year, but Once and Future has not been one of them, and it should have been. So I am ready to get this one read and be able to not be embarrassed about it still being on my TBR. Next up is The Winter Duke by Claire Eliza Bartlett. I don't know what prompts this actually works for, other than I'm pretty sure it's a YA. Maybe it's an enemies to lovers, I think. Basically, my favorite author, who is now a close friend, Anna Burke, recommended this to me. And when one of your favorite authors tells you to read a book, you read the fucking book. You don't go look up and hem and haw. If they tell you, if you love my books, you'll really love this, and they give you a personal rec, you buy the damn book. So I bought this book, and I'm gonna read it, and then after I read it, because this is also another like way up there on my TBR, I will read it and then figure out what prompts it works for. Maybe I'll have double duty on a lot of these prompts. Who knows? Next up is another book I am absolutely going to read next month, because I am buddy reading it with my new friend Melanie, who is Mel to the Any. I have followed Melanie for at least a year. She's been reviewing books for way longer, at least 5 or 6 years. And so she followed me back on Instagram, and I kind of squealed a little bit, and we started talking and kind of fangirled at each other, and it made me feel so like grateful and happy, and my heart was very full. And she asked if we could do a buddy read together, and we kind of compared and contrasted what we had. She wanted to do a Sapphic September read with me, so we are going to read The Dark Tide together. I got this in my first ever Rainbow Crate book box. I am going to be a representative for Rainbow Crate in September, October, November, but I purchased the August box of my own accord when I heard that they had a Sapphic book, because the first 2 books were not Sapphic, but this one was, and I'm excited to get to it. It's like queer. Let me just read the back. The Witch Queen comes on wings of night. The Witch Queen has your heart's delight. Hold him, hold on tight. Hide him out of sight. Like, that's so ominous and wonderful and queer witches. So this is absolutely getting read. Okay, we're finally getting to where it's a manageable stack behind me. Next up is my pick for quick read novella or graphic novel. It is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Rosemary Valero-O'Connell and Mariko Tamaki. So this is a graphic novel about a very dysfunctional, toxic, sapphic relationship. And honestly, like, I'm all for having pure, wonderful, wholesome rep, but as someone who has also in the past been in toxic relationships, it's sometimes validating for me to be able to read about these kind of things in sapphic relationships. It just, I don't know, I don't think that we should always have to be like pure and wonderful and perfect, and so I'm excited to read this one. I might buddy read this with my friend Gabby, who's Live by Gabby 1510 on Booktube and also on Instagram. She is my token straight friend, who's my closest straight book friend, and I love her dearly, and she's doing this readathon and also reading this. So hey Gabby, you're hearing it here first. Let's buddy read this. 2 more. Speaking of Gabby, how do I do this? Girl Serpent Thorn. This is my embarrassment. This was when I first found out about it. It quickly became my most anticipated new release of the year. I freaked the fuck out over it. I was so excited about it. I ordered it and I won my friend Gabby's pre-order giveaway in May, and I decided to pre-order it, and then she knew how excited I was about it and just like sent me her Fairy Loot edition. That's like this beautiful pink with green pages that I left inside because this is the copy I'm actually going to read. But she sent me that, and then I won this in her giveaway, and she sent me this to actually read so I wouldn't have to mess up that copy. And long story short, this is my version of the meme that you see that's like, funny, like, bold of you to assume that I'm going to immediately read my most anticipated book of the year when it arrives, because this, first of all, it was on my May TBR and it got pushed back. Then it was on my June TBR, and then I didn't make a TBR last month or this month, but I still haven't fucking read it. And it's embarrassing, and I want to tackle it. I say I haven't read it. I have gotten that far in, but this is the front, so it's not very far. So I've started it, and I do really want to get to it next month because it's embarrassing to be that excited about a book and then not read it more quickly. So, before we do the last physical copy I have, I would also like to note that I am buddy reading Plain Bad Heroines by Emily Danforth. Pause. Okay, yes. I will be buddy reading Plain Bad Heroines by Emily Danforth with my friend Dom, who I mentioned previously. We both have ARCs for that, digital, except I won a physical galley of Plain Bad Heroines from a Goodreads giveaway, so that's exciting. But I have the ebook through NetGalley, and did I say I won it through NetGalley? Through Goodreads. I won it through Goodreads. I requested and was approved for it through NetGalley. Either way, none of that really matters. The point is, I'm going to buddy read it with my friend Dom next month, so that's another I'm absolutely going to read. It seems like it's going to be chunky. It's a 600-page hardback, so that's going to take a little time and might cut into some of these other things I wanted to read, but it's important to me to stick to my buddy reads. I absolutely love buddy reads because of the accountability that it comes with. Like, it makes me actually read a specific book instead of being like, I don't feel like reading that. I'm going to read a different book, and being like the filthy mood reader that I am. So my buddy reads for this month are going to be the ones I actually get done, and the rest, who the fuck knows? Oh, it's my own damn readathon, and I forgot to mention, important, should have mentioned this up front, maybe go back and add this in. The group read for the Sapphic September readathon is going to be Iron Heart by Nina Varela. It is the sequel to Crier's War, which is a book that is near and dear to my heart. It is a Sapphic YA, enemies to lovers. It is the most delicious, slow burn, wonderful fucking book. I love it more than life itself. And Ironheart is the last book of the year that I am really, really, really excited, like, waiting for. It comes out on September 8th. We're going to buddy read that, probably going to start it halfway through the month around like 9:15. I will put the link in the description below for my blog post about Sapphic September, and also for the Discord server that I have made for Sapphic September if anyone wants to join in and join us. I know September is like a day and a half away, but it's never too late to join, and we'd love to have you. So, I said all of that and forgot that I had one more book, which is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. I ran the fuck to Barnes & Noble a few days after this came out, specifically to buy this book and to buy The First Sister by Lyndon Lewis. I am so pumped for this. My friend Dom, who is my book twin, highly recommended it. Lots of people highly recommended it. It's, I mean, look at this. It is a space opera. An outsider who can travel between worlds discovers a secret that threatens her new home and her fragile place in it, and a stunning sci-fi debut that's both a cross-dimensional adventure and a powerful examination of identity, privilege, and belonging, which sounds like the best shit ever. So, whew. Catch me realizing halfway through that last recording that I stopped telling you what prompts I was reading stuff for. My ADHD superpower. Okay, but I was gonna go real quick rewind back through the books. Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. Format you read the least. Sci-fi fantasy with romantic subplot. Maybe more. Girl Serpent Thorn by Melissa Basher Dost. I don't know. Myth or fairy tale retelling. And this isn't new to me. So maybe just that. We'll go with that. Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. This is my quick read novella or graphic novel. Maybe going to buddy read with friend. I should leave that not there yet. Cinderella is Dead by Kalynn Braun. This is another fairy tale retelling. It is also a new to me author. It is many things. I don't know. I should have picked better prompts. I'm just gonna mood read I'm gonna tell y'all what's gonna happen is, other than my buddy reads, I'm gonna mood read, and then I swear to God I will make whatever it is that I actually read fit back into the prompts in some way or another. I made them intentionally vague and kind of broad on purpose for people like me, and also people who were like, you only gave me 10 days to plan for a readathon. You think 10 days is enough time to plan for a readathon? It is if you have random broad prompts. So you're welcome, everyone, for that short notice but long leash. The Dark Tide by Alicia Jasinska. Wow, my brain just went blank for a minute. I was like, that doesn't say Alicia. That says Alicia. I know several people whose name is Alicia. That's A-L-Y-S-H-A, or even A-L-I-S-H-A, and I was like, CIA isn't how you spell Alicia, but it absolutely is. Anyway, enemies to lovers, fantasy, other things. I don't know. I just want to read it. The Winter Duke by Eliza Bartlett. Prompt? Who knows? Enemies to lovers, YA. Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Cory McCarthy. Y'all, it's hot. I'm running out of steam. This is myth or fairy tale retelling. And other things. Why does everything I have just a retelling? Like 50% of my TBR fits between the books on my TBR all work for either like myth or fairy tale retelling or enemies or rivals to lovers. And like everything else is just kind of incidental, it feels like. Or at least 75% could fit between those two. Can y'all tell? Those are my two favorite subgenres, or my favorite subgenre and my favorite trope. The Music in the Mirror by Lola Keeley, which is contemporary romance. I think opposites attract, and indie or small press author, small press Ilva. The Falling in Love Montage by Ciara Smyth. I said Smyth right this time, y'all. Hell yeah. I'm still so embarrassed. I'm not gonna edit that out because I feel like it's me as a person is making like stupid mistakes like that. Anyway, YA, contemporary romance, new to me, lots of things. The Henna Wars by Adiba Jaigirdar. Also Rivals to Lovers and YA. Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. Also enemies to lovers. Escaping Exodus by Nicky Drayden. Sci-fi fantasy. Maybe it's also enemies to lovers. I don't know. Do I buy books that aren't anymore? Who knows? The Long Way to a Small Amy Planet. A Small Amy Planet. Yeah, that's a thing. A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. And Peta Lyre's Rating Normal by Anna Whateley, which is YA also. Oh, now we'll put Lardine on the pile. So, if you've actually made it this far and watched and you would like to subscribe to my channel so that a month from now when I do my official launch, you see a better video than this shit, feel free. You can also find me on Instagram at manicfemme, Twitter at manic_femme, or no, that's pretty much it. I mean, technically I have a Facebook, but the Facebook is just Instagram posts being shared to Facebook, so maybe don't bother with that one. I'm also on Goodreads at /manicfemme. So, leave your comments below. Have you read any of these books? Do you want to read any of these books? Was I super wrong about any of these fitting certain prompts? Do you want to yell at me for talking too long? Whatever you want. Anyway, that's all I got. And I promise, I am swamped with school right now, but I promise the next time I post a booktube video, it will not, no, it will probably still be this chaotic, but hopefully it will be better edited because I'm going to take a video editing course in my next term, and hopefully that will help me make better videos. So anyway, thanks for watching. I will see y'all later. Jesus, I have no upper body strength. This is a terrible idea.